Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. I'm very sorry for disappearing over the holidays. I didn't mean to. I caught a bit of a flu just around the 24th. Had my voice just completely gone there for a while, and then I also had to deal with a bunch of other stuff. One of my pipes had some issues. I had to get a plumber over. Just big mess over the holidays. I hope you guys had a better holiday season than I did, whatever you choose to celebrate or not celebrate. And if you hear me, if my voice goes away during this video, if you hear me sniffling or coughing, very sorry. I'm feeling a lot better, but I'm not sure how this video will go. So let's just take a quick look at a few news stories from the last couple of days. And there's so much stuff I missed, I'll try to talk about all of it, split over a bunch of different videos. Let's get into it. With XRP being listed on eToro. Christmas Day was a day of jolly for the XRP community, as well as eToro, a multi-asset fintech brokerage company. On December 25th, eToro announced that XRP will now be supported on their platform, and news that users were expecting for a long time. eToro has also enticed the XRP community by revealing that for a limited amount of time, I assume, no fees will be charged for both XRP wallet creation and XRP coin transfer. In an official blog post, eToro said, current minimum transfer amount is 133 XRP. Coin transfer is available for gold users and above in countries where the wallet is available. The company had also informed users that the services are only available for users who have deposited their assets using a wire transfer, with the possibility of more payment methods to be added soon. And here we're getting to the big issue. Because on the one hand, it is wonderful to see eToro, a well-known large platform available in many countries around the world, embracing XRP like this. That is wonderful, but forcing you to deposit your assets using a wire transfer is where a lot of people saw a big issue, and I definitely understand that here. That is, of course, a way to pretty much lock certain people out, a way to tie us into the kind of traditional finance that some people in the crypto world might not be happy taking part in. And we've seen a bit of a backlash, and I'm gonna jump a bit forward here. The addition of XRP has not gone without any incident on social media platforms, with many outraged users attacking the company's approach towards the whole process. Tiffany Hayden, a prominent member of the XRP community, tweeted, "Social pressure is my only superpower and it didn't work. eToro doesn't care, they don't have your XRP and they are lying to you. Either find a way to remove yourself from their platform or accept the consequences. There's nothing I can do, I'm sorry, eToro is dead to me." She was joined by other members of the XRP community, like Luke Roberts, an XRP fan, saying, "Dear eToro, whilst we thank you for setting up an e-wallet, the XRP community bought real XRP coins using our hard-earned dollars via debit credit cards. We cannot withdraw our coins unless we send a wire transfer, rendering this wallet and all initial offerings useless." And I absolutely 100% get where they are coming from here. Now, I do try to always give the benefit of the doubt. I always try to find the most charitable reading of any situation. And eToro has said that they are beginning with wire transfers, but that they are considering adding more methods in the future. The way that can be interpreted, and the way I choose to interpret it for now, because anyone who's watched my channel for a while knows I think it's a better stance to take to always look for a positive interpretation of any given situation. That is how I want other people to treat me, and that is how I treat other people. And right now it looks entirely possible that this is the first one that they're offering because it was the easiest to implement, because it was technologically easier to implement, because it was regulatorily easier to implement, and that they might be rolling out other methods in the coming weeks. Now, if they don't roll out anything else, if they don't roll this out for people who paid with debit credit cards, then that is a big issue. Then that is absolutely not okay. For now, I'm choosing to give them the benefit of the doubt here, choosing to give them some time, but it does look absolutely questionable, and I do understand what these commentators on Twitter are saying. But let's look at the positive thing here. This is eToro, really big platform, getting an XRP wallet ready, listing it on their platform, and there are certainly issues with it right now, but I'm hopeful that these will be fixed and will not be permanent. Let's take a quick look at a project I almost never talk about on this channel, NANO. NANO, of course, well known, had a big issue earlier this year where a lot of it was hacked and stolen from an exchange, with some people claiming that NANO's technology itself was at fault for that. So now NANO made sure to get an independent review of their tech ready, and that review is now out and finds no critical vulnerabilities. Let's take a quick look, and then I obviously give you my opinion at the end. According to an independent security review conducted by Red4Sec, there are no critical vulnerabilities in the NANO, I assume NANO blockchain I mean. Red4Sec is a cybersecurity firm that has been in charge of reviewing the node software for NANO. The firm has been enlisted by the NANO Foundation to conduct the audit. The NANO cryptocurrency seems not to have any critical vulnerabilities according to Red4Sec. The company started in September to conduct an audit of the consensus and representative software of the virtual currency. After working and testing this digital asset, there are no serious exploits in the cryptocurrency. NANO's founder commented in a statement, "When we began the challenge of finding a firm qualified to conduct a security audit, we were immediately impressed with the knowledge of cryptography and distributed systems possessed by the Red4Sec team. Our team is confident that we've landed on the best choice to aggressively test the NANO consensus protocol." This is very important for NANO. They're just talking about what I talked about earlier. But okay, the takeaway here is that NANO had an independent review of their technology and that found no critical vulnerabilities. Now that doesn't necessarily mean there are no vulnerabilities. Any auditing firm can make a mistake, can overlook something. And this, of course, always needs to be taken with some grain of salt because, of course, when a company pays another company to do an audit, even when that audit is meant to be independent, you never know exactly what is going on in the background there. I'm not trying to attack Red4Sec here. I have no idea if they're dealing in that, but you never quite know how independent an audit really is if that audit is being paid for by the company being audited. So do keep that in mind. I have no particular reason to question the validity of this audit, but always good to just have in mind the moment one company asks another to audit them and the moment money is exchanged for that, you never quite know if they might just be leaving something out from their report or not looking as hard at it as they should. And that doesn't have to be conscious. That can be an unconscious bias. There can be an unconscious bias to not look at as closely and to not make any problems with the company that is paying you. This isn't an attack on either NANO or the company they hired here. For all we know, this is most likely a completely valid, independent audit that found no problems. So I'm going to count this as a positive for NANO in the long run. Now Vitalik. He made some very harsh statements before in the past, and he is back at it talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin SV on Twitter. I almost said on Tumblr, but nobody uses Tumblr. In a Twitter discussion with cryptocurrency commentator and entrepreneur Tour Demester, Buterin debated the pros and cons of two algorithms used by many cryptocurrencies, proof of work and proof of stake. Now, most of you are probably completely aware of what these two are, but proof of work is essentially what Bitcoin and a lot of early cryptocurrencies were doing and what Ethereum is currently doing, but soon going away from. And that is you have miners, and these miners carry out calculations on their computers, and for those calculations they are rewarded in that cryptocurrency. There's a randomized element, but ultimately there's usually a certain amount of electricity and money you put in to get a certain amount of cryptocurrency out of it, and that is proof of work. Essentially, your computer is carrying out calculations and you're rewarded for those with the new mining. Proof of stake, on the other half, you don't have to do any calculations. Instead, you have a certain amount of cryptocurrency tokens that are representative of a certain percentage of the total weight of the network. And newly mined tokens are just distributed evenly or by a randomized system of some form among those accounts. Now, there are pros and cons of both of them, but I'm personally a strong supporter of proof of stake. I think it is more representative of what many people consider the spirit of cryptocurrency, in that it is more accessible, in that it is more of a factor that that democratizes and makes everything even, that evens the playing field, gives everyone a chance, while proof of work is often not really accessible for people who can't invest thousands or even more than that. And of course, proof of stake has the added advantage of not needing ridiculous amounts of electricity, which of course turns into a problem in a variety of ways. But let's look at what he actually said. Here we have their statements. I'm actually going to read all of this from here on. As part of its long-term upgrade schedule, Ethereum plans to transfer from proof of work to proof of stake, with Buterin saying he doesn't believe in the former. Bitcoin Cash SV, which plans to use giant block sizes to solve scaling difficulties on-chain, has faced technical and publicity hurdles since it came into being on November 15th. Now, those publicity hurdles included me making a very, very mean video about it and talking about it in several other videos as well. The altcoin unwittingly became collateral damage from the debate after an advocate requested Buterin's opinion on it. The user had claimed the scaling plans from Bitcoin developers, specifically off-chain scaling via the Lightning Network, was a joke. Buterin slickly disagreed. I have my disagreements with the Bitcoin roadmap, proof of work, etc., but they're trying to do something that's genuinely cool tech, he responded. I assume that with cool tech he's referring to all the second layer and third layer solutions that are happening on top of Bitcoin. And then he continued on, BSV is a pure dumpster fire. And sometimes I like the... he has a way with words, because this isn't a complex sentence, this isn't something that everyone couldn't come up with. But just ending the tweet with that is just kind of beautiful. I love this, I love this. So here we have the main creative force behind the number 3 cryptocurrency, just outright calling Bitcoin Cash SV a dumpster fire. And you know my stance on this. You know my stance on Bitcoin Cash SV. It doesn't need to exist. It has no legitimate reason to exist. It was essentially a means of making a lot of money overnight for a few people behind it. And it crashed the entire market for a good month or so. So anytime I see someone make statements like this, I just have to repeat them on the channel. I just have to read them out. I have my disagreements with Vitalik. I think everyone has. I think you can have respectful disagreements with somebody while still respecting their opinions on other things and still respecting them as a person. And that is how I generally act with Vitalik. He said some stuff in the past that I do not agree with, absolutely do not. But he's also said things that I do agree with, and this is one of them. I think most of us can agree Bitcoin SV is a pure dumpster fire. And let's get to one last coin. The Litecoin Foundation, of course behind much of the development on and advocacy for Litecoin, are going to sponsor a UFC title fight to increase crypto adoption. The Litecoin Foundation will sponsor an event of the Ultimate Fighting Championship mixed martial arts organization, according to an announcement published on December 26th. In a statement, the foundation said that it has become the official cryptocurrency partner of the UFC Light Heavyweight title fight between John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. That is a mouthful. The Litecoin Foundation stated that the sponsorship is part of its effort to expand the adoption of digital currencies, saying, "With brands and institutions continuing to push into cryptocurrency and blockchain, this is yet another signal of this technology moving closer towards the mainstream." And we don't really need to go further into this article because it just brings up other examples of cryptocurrency advocacy and cryptocurrency companies and cryptocurrencies being involved with sports from the last year or so. Now, generally, I think it is a good idea to use a mainstream sporting event to push for more crypto adoption. I'm not sure how effective this will be, because it's one thing to increase name recognition and awareness of the existence of cryptocurrencies, and in that way this might be a way to make a lot more people aware of Litecoin existing. A lot of people who might know nothing about cryptocurrencies or who might think that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency around might learn about Litecoin through this. But the thing is, marketing is hard. Advertising is hard. There's a reason that dedicated advertisement companies are being paid millions to make effective campaigns and spots. And they have a really hard task here, because they are going to assume here, and I'm going to assume here, that the largest part of the audience for this is not aware or only very superficially aware of what cryptocurrencies are. So what they are going to have to do here is they're going to convince them that cryptocurrencies are something interesting to look into. They are going to have to convince them that Litecoin in particular is of interest, and they're going to have to make some kind of an appeal to the audience that there is a real advantage, something real in their lives that can be improved by using Litecoin. And that, I think, is going to be very hard. We are going to see how exactly this partnership pans out. If it's just going to be like a few Litecoin banners and them mentioning the name Litecoin in announcements, like this battle was sponsored by Litecoin, that won't really do anything, I believe. That is more the kind of thing that that companies do to pat themselves on the back to show, look, we're doing something. And I think that is ultimately what they're probably doing here. They want the positive attention associated with sponsoring a sporting event, and they don't really expect much to happen from this sponsorship itself. Because they know that this is too tough an ask, this is probably not the right audience, and I'm not sure the Litecoin Foundation, unless they are trying to increase the adoption of crypto in general and to bring that in general closer to people's minds, I don't think they will achieve all that much here. But hey, it gets them in the crypto news at least, and will probably get at least a couple headlines in mainstream news as well. And that might be more valuable than whatever they paid to get this sponsorship. So even if the core audience of this sponsorship, even if the people watching that fight don't really take away all that much, they will get a tiny bit of brand recognition from this, and they are getting news stories. And sometimes in advertisement, in promotion, you're doing something not actually to advertise, but to have news about you advertising. And it looks like that could be what is happening here. With that, I'm going to end this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Sorry once again for the unintentional hiatus. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrated. As always, all the articles are linked in the description if you want to read any of these yourself. I will definitely put out more videos, so if I missed anything here, don't worry, it will probably be in one of the other videos. I'll try to push out 2 videos a day for the next couple days, just catch up on everything. If you like my stuff and want to support my channel, there are ways to do that in the description, and it is insanely appreciated. There's a Patreon link, there's donation addresses, there is a tip jar where you can send me $3 at a time with PayPal. Anything highly appreciated. If you can't or don't want to send me money, that is also okay. I would just ask that you please take the 10 seconds to leave a like and a comment under this video. I know every YouTuber asks you to do that, but it really, really, really does help. It really helps. It's incredible how much of a change I'm seeing in my video performance since I've asked you guys to do this. So if you like my channel, if you want me to succeed, I would really much appreciate if you left a like and a comment. And with that, ending this video, thanks for watching. I'll be back probably later today.